All right, how's everybody feeling tonight? That sucked. You need to try that again. Yeah. But anyway, I'm here for a couple of reasons. Notwithstanding, it's my buddy Jason's birthday. He's sitting over there at the bar. He's 27 years old, so if you decide to have a conversation with his ass, you got to make sure to punch him in the nuts 27 times because that's how old he is. Part of getting old really, really sucks. And I'll tell you, I'm at that weird age where half of my friends are too drunk to find their wallet and their keys, and the other half of them are having more kids than I can count on my hands and toes. The worst part about it isn't all the Facebook posts about all the different things that their kids did. It's like, oh my God, my kid just walked today. It's like, that's not the worst. The worst thing is having to act interested when they decide to show you a picture of their kid. Because on the outside, you're like, oh my God, that's so cute. Oh my God, it's the most precious thing ever. But you're on the inside, you're just kind of like, oh, that's a baby in a plaid shirt wearing a diaper laying down. That's kind of what babies do. When on the inside, you're kind of like, why can't you show me a picture of like a baby traversing a waterfall or wrestling a bear? Because that would be way more awesome and actually pique my interest. Being in your late 20s isn't so bad. It's kind of alright because you have all these wonderful different things that are pretty much made for being in your late 20s. Like Tinder, which by the way is the greatest scam ever because when I put my actual picture up on Tinder, I didn't get any matches. When I changed my picture to the picture of a goat with a majestic goatee, I got more matches than I knew what to do with. Notwithstanding all the pictures of the goats that I put on my Tinder profile, the biggest difference between being 23 and being 27 is pretty much the fact that when you're 23 and you wake up in the morning after a night of heavy drinking, you think to yourself, oh shit, I really hope I didn't lose my wallet last night or punch a cop. But when you're 27, you think to yourself, oh shit, I hope I didn't agree to go on a hike or help somebody move. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that, well, I'm an Irish Jew. So that means I'm kind of like a unicorn. I'm a unicorn that aspires to be a horse and is conflicted about cutting off its horn in order to be a horse. And the biggest part of that is that I have a Jewish mother. My mother is a Jewish mother, and she's the only person in the world that could possibly make their child feel guilty for not knocking a girl up and at the same time making them feel guilty for having sex out of wedlock. But when that does happen, you kind of have to take a step back and be like, hey mom, this is my life and it's not your life. And at the same time, she's like, what are you gonna do when I'm dead? You're gonna miss me. So, having a Jewish mother isn't the easiest thing in the world. But being an Irish Jew is even harder. And the reason being is that most of the time, those two pieces of me don't conflict. But they do conflict when I am at the bar. Because when I'm at the bar, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the Irish part of me is like, more whiskey. And then the other part of me, the Jewish part of me is like, you need to save your money and save up for retirement and save for your child's college fund. But some of those are more feasible than others. So when you're sitting there and you're Irish, you have a really ridiculously high tolerance and you love alcohol, but at the same time, the Jewish part of you is like, you need to hoard all the money. So when you try to do that, those two things don't exactly work when you're at a bar in South Florida. So when you're sitting there and it's like, oh my God, I am 3 beers in, I have a ridiculous tolerance, I need another drink, all my friends are drunk, but a drink is going to cost me 0.003% of my entire retirement fund. What am I going to do? And then it goes back and forth like that for a couple of minutes, and then at the end of the day, you say to yourself, I need another fucking drink. So, you know, I'm sure all of you, every single one of you, I'm sure, has driven in South Florida, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you drive in South Florida, you've all noticed that it's kind of like a weird type of landscape where it's post-apocalyptic, nobody thinks they need to use turn signals, and everybody decides that it's a good idea to either have a slow contest where they both sit in the same lane and they decide to go 5 miles under the speed limit, or everybody's driving so much over the speed limit that you don't know what the fuck to do with yourself. So on the way over here, I saw a car accident, and it's about the 256th one this week. And this one was very interesting. What was interesting about it was that it was a hipster on a Vespa that ran into a hippie in a Prius. There was glitter and pretentiousness everywhere. But that wasn't the most surprising thing. The most surprising thing about the entire thing was that within 15 seconds of the car accident happening was that there was a disparaging review on Yelp within 15 seconds of the car accident happening. So, the hipsters are kind of invading Florida. But that's not even the weirdest thing. In Florida, everything is about what you have and sex and how well you dress. And it's amazing how things come full circle. Because in 2015 BC, it was kind of, when you went out hunting, it was like, be careful, you might meet a cougar while going out clubbing. But now in 2015, it's like, be careful, you might meet a cougar while you're going out clubbing. Both of those are not the same thing. It's amazing to me. You know, it should be more gross to have sex with somebody than to share somebody's toothbrush, but it's not. Sometimes I think to myself that this society would be a better place if turning your flat-brimmed hat backwards made you sterile. Part of that is because when you meet a guy and you're going out, not so much when you meet a guy, I shouldn't have said that, that really makes me seem like I'm gay, and that's really not what I want to give off. But when you go out on a date, you go out on a date with a girl, and the reality is that you go out on about 10 dates with this girl, right? And you can't remember a single fucking thing she said on the first date. But she can't remember where her keys are, where her cell phone is, where her best friend is, but she can remember every single detail about your first date. Which is a problem, because you can't even remember her name, because you're going on so many dates with your goat picture on Tinder that there's really not much you can do about it. At the end of the day, she will look at you and say, but you said on your first date that you did X and Y. It wasn't what you said that you said now, that it was Z and D, and really we can't see each other anymore. So I'm going to leave you with this. I sell diamonds for a living, and every single one of you guys out there that are kidding yourselves that your girlfriend says size doesn't matter, I'm going to tell you right now, you've never sold a woman a diamond. At the end of the day, when she tells you size doesn't matter, she's full of shit. Because she just wants that really big diamond. Thank you very much, guys. I'm Marc Frankel.